Yeah. Come on. Welcome.
Good evening. Sean Higgs coming at you. It's bracket time. What's there to say? You know, I hate, well, you know I like my middies and my smaller conference type stuff. And then you see the matchups for this nonsense. Freaking ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So, printed out some lines here. DK, DraftKings lines. They're in. We'll go as we move on. We'll do them each by, we'll go down the line here. I'm going to send out some invites. Maybe we'll get some, see who responds. Maybe we'll get some guests. My luck, I'll send out 5 invites. Nobody responds. I'll send out 20, and then I can only have 10 people in a room. We'll see what happens. I'm going to send out some links. We'll see if anybody is around on a, what's today? Sunday night. I don't even know. But we'll see who we could get. I'm just sending out some peeps. But we'll start them up. We'll start it up a little bit. Well, let me send all these guys out. All right, I just sent out like 20. We'll see who responds. We'll see who pops in. All right, so Tuesday. I don't have the times in front of me, so forgive me. I was loading these up as they came. I mean, they were popping lines out right out of the gate. The lines were popping up for these games. So 640 tip. It would be the Howard game, would be the first game. Howard game, 640. So a 2.5 and a 127.5. We are a 3. I like me some Howard in this one. Give me some Howard. If you can get a 2.5, I do see a couple 2.5s still available. I know it's moved up. And totals, I feel, first round totals are usually, hey, we got a guest. Look at this. I love it. There we go.
What's good?
I'm like, I said, I'm like, see if we get somebody in. Excellent. So now we actually got a guy in here who could actually load up a bracket for us if we need a split screen. So that's good.
Yep, I could do that.
What do you, I printed out the bracket.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't fill it out because I was too busy trying to get all the lines going and stuff. I got to say, you know what? We'll pull off the matchup first here. Looking at this East bracket, and I was saying how some of these smaller middle schools kind of get screwed a little bit. I couldn't get out of the East bracket. I started going to the West, the bottom part. UConn, whose Cheerios did these guys pee in to get this draw? So they have a Florida Atlantic team who, granted, down a little bit, was the Final Four team last year. Possible matchup in the second round. You have the Mountain West runner-ups who were favored to win the tournament. You have the SEC tournament champions. You have the Big Ten tournament champions. You have the Big 12 tournament champions.
Wow.
You have the Missouri Valley. Drake won. You have the Missouri Valley champs in here.
You have the A10 champ. You have the AAC champ.
AAC champ. They're the number one team. I mean, forget about you guys. Forget about the Ivy champ. Okay. A10 champ, Ivy champ. Moorhead was a champ of theirs, but you're going to get
ASUN champ. You have to include the ASUN champ in there, Stetson.
I mean, you have every small school champ, right? You got Moorhead, South Dakota State out of the Summit. I mean,
Stetson out of the ASUN. You have UAB out of the AAC. You have Yale out of the Ivy. You have Auburn out of the SEC. You got Duquesne over the A10. Yeah.
And Moorhead is the OVC champs, and they're playing the Big Ten champs. This is a bracket of champions.
UConn's not repeating. I'm putting that out there. UConn is not repeating. The only thing I have bet so far is 3 futures for national championships for the bracket. That's all I've done really so far.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me with this thing? Look, I mean, what? Every conference champion. Who's the? I mean, forget it. Florida Atlantic, Northwestern weren't conference champions. I get it, but I mean, a runner-up, a Final Four team for last year, champion UAB, Auburn, Yale, BYU's not large. And that's a team. That could get hot from 3 and swipe out anybody. I think by far that is the toughest bracket.
Yep,
it's not even close. And then I would say maybe the West at the bottom, they did UConn no favor. You got North Carolina as a 1 seed. You have, Michigan State. With Sparty and Izzo.
Sparty could be interesting.
It's always that team is. I don't want to. That's not a team I want to bet against.
No, not at all. Not at all.
We could make fun of St. Mary's a little bit for their offense sometimes, but that's a team that could play a little defense and can win a game.
I think they can kick the crap out of Grand Canyon.
That's a low line. I might have to take Grand Canyon there. Alabama? Like, is Alabama some kind of cakewalk? If they get there?
I think Alabama, I think, is the definition of boom bust. They're either going to get bounced by Charleston or make a run to the Final Four.
Yes.
Which one?
Baylor could be a dangerous team.
Colgate's kind of interesting there in that spot.
I'm just saying, from the standpoint of not making things easy in the entire side of the region for East and West.
And then Arizona, I think, is one of the best teams in the nation. And
then, of course, Duke's going to get a nice cupcake bracket over here like it always does.
Yeah. I mean
they're a 4 seed.
Marquette and Houston ain't fun. Vermont out of the American East is not fun.
I'm just saying. I mean, Duke, and then you get Wisconsin, James Madison. I like James Madison. I already bet James Madison a 4.5.
I feel like JMU is going to be one of those teams that everybody picks as the 12.
Well, that's why you got to get them. Or it's a team you got to get now at 4.5 before it goes to 3.
I want Wisconsin in that matchup.
I got a 4.5 because I know it's going to come down. But again, you have Houston. People are going to bet on Duke as a 4 seed because they're just Duke.
I want some.
And Marquette, I'm guessing what's his name's playing. Kolek is going to be playing.
Probably.
And then
I love Marquette in that region. Love Marquette.
What about Purducken? Oh, look at this. Look
at
this fella coming in. Look at this. Straight from the wildlife reservation. And he's got his mute on. Fabulous.
Am I muted? I said I just got done smoking peyote, but hey, I was sitting there watching. Guess what movie I was sitting there watching when I got your thing? Today for after the fucking bracket thing. I said it's non-sports day. I'm watching movies. Guess what movie I'm watching?
Blue Chips.
No, 80s movie.
Some type of sports movie.
Yeah.
Is it a sports movie?
No.
Oh, all right.
Just one of the guys.
Red
Dawn.
Movie.
A who?
Chick movie.
Some kind of wonderful.
It's got both Joan and John Cusack in it, both of them.
Say anything.
16 Candles.
16 Candles?
Yeah. Don't call me gay.
16 Candles fan.
I don't know. I just watched it. But I disagree. UConn has the easiest chance to go to the Final Four of all the number 1 seeds.
What are you talking about?
I think it's the easiest.
All right, so what were you smoking? Crack and meth?
Peyote.
So you smoke crack and meth and then some – what else was in –
the most overrated teams, the most overachieving, overrated teams are in this side of the bracket.
What? I feel like this is going to be like
okay, BYU overachieved this year. Duquesne overachieved this year. Illinois was worse than they played. They actually stepped up the past 2 games, but they're not the same way. Don't talk to me about Morehead State doing anything but getting past the first round.
Hold on a second, Morehead. All I said. Go ahead, run down your.
I'm just saying. I disagree with you guys. It's not my show. I'm just.
They have the SEC tournament champs. So I think, listen, you're a tournament champ. You're playing your best. You're playing really good ball, and you're beating pretty good teams. It's not like this was some, Longwood an 8 seed being in the one spot. The SEC was pretty top heavy with their teams. I mean, you have the SEC champ, the Big Ten champ, Big 12 champion. All right. If you want to go smaller conferences out of the A10, the Mountain, Missouri Valley, the Summit, the AAC. I mean, the runner-up, San Diego State was the runner-up, and they were the favorite over the team that they,
You also realize
I'm sorry, San Diego State did win the Mountain West. I thought they were the runner-up. No, they won the Mountain West.
Do you realize how many conference tournaments were won by 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 seeds? Like the best teams didn't win the tournaments.
Hold on a second. San Diego State might have been a 4 seed or whatever. They were the odds favorite to win the tournament at -$2. They were the favorite to win the tournament.
Fair enough. Who won the ACC? Who won the SEC? Who won the Big Ten? None of those teams were the best teams, even by far. In fact, I bet teams like NC State, who blew their load.
Oh, I love Texas Tech round one. I love Texas Tech round one.
You think Illinois is a bad team?
No. I think they're good. I think they're overrated, is what I'm saying. They're good. Oh, here's a question. Just a good debate.
Okay.
If UConn gets past Auburn, who in the bottom part of that bracket is going to beat them?
See, I don't think they get past Auburn.
I bet you Drake upsets Washington State and Iowa State. Drake's a respectable.
I like Drake.
Yeah.
I bet Drake already.
Yeah,
Drake plus 1.5.
Drake in that 7-10 matchup is definitely worth.
I don't know. I just disagree. I thought I'd come in. I was listening to Nick. That's just my opinion. I don't know.
I mean, they lost to.
I took Auburn as one of the 3 teams at 16-1. I took to win the national championship.
They're the ones that can beat them in that side. That's what I think. They're the ones. I'll give you that.
I've got 3 teams that I'm riding with in the bracket, and Auburn's one of them.
I think Auburn didn't get their respect in the SEC this year.
They absolutely did not.
I don't think they did.
How are they a 4 seed?
They're well coached. They have talent. I'm with you. I want to bet Duquesne so fucking bad to beat BYU. I don't think it's going to happen, but BYU was my number.
What's the line on that game?
BYU game?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen.
I see BYU as 7.5-point dogs or favorites. I mean, Duquesne 7.5 is not a bad look.
I'll bet Duquesne.
Is that what it is? I'm looking for it. BYU 7.5, 141.5.
Anyway.
Let's see here. So, first game up was Wagner and Howard.
Mm-hmm.
I'm liking Howard here.
But you are. I'm on the other side. I'd be on the other side.
I got Howard minus 2.5.
Okay.
I think Wagner beats UNC.
Shut up.
I think Wagner beats UNC.
Come on, we had an NEC school make it through the first 4 and beat a 1 seed last
year. By the way, Higgs, I probably won't bet that game. This game I'll bet right here.
It's Colorado State. Virginia, I can't bet on it, and that line's already gone up to 2.5 from a 1.5.
I'm with you too. I'm on Colorado State. I'd be on Colorado State.
Yeah, I mean, and this total. I mean, I'm seeing 119.5 now. I want to bet the over.
Yeah,
I want to bet the over at 120.
Yeah,
I mean, 120 points.
Yeah,
it was a 118 opener. It's gone up. It's gone up a whole point here. And normally, I was saying before you guys came on, I was like, usually I'm like looking to do unders here in the first round, right? It's like an under kind of thing. But I think I see numbers like this. It's like I got to go opposite of that. It's so low where I got to go over. I mean, I know Virginia could score 40 in this game, but if they score their 60, this game's going over the total because Colorado State's getting to this, 65-60. It's an over.
You know what I don't like? The eye test shows me that Colorado State's not hitting shots like they usually do. I don't know what their percentages were. It just seemed that way the past 2 games I watched.
Well, like most, I mean, you have teams that are used to playing where they play, even if it's an away game for them, it's a court they play at every year, so they're on their home court. That's why you see totals go under on neutrals, because you got jump shooters shooting with bigger backgrounds and stuff like that kind of nonsense.
Yeah.
So that's why you tend to go unders. And then you get a team like Virginia is could be a brutal team, even at home, scoring 41 points. But
my whole point is Virginia is a defensive team that's gonna be a problem to shoot down low. Basically, I'm saying Colorado State's gonna have to rely on shooting the ball, which they can do and have done at least historically the past few years. But I'm looking at they did okay. They did okay against New Mexico. They just actually, no, I'm lying. That's the other way. 34-21. They did horribly. That was New Mexico. 34% from the field, 21 from three. That's not going to cut it. And then versus Nevada, when they won, let's just take a look at that game. They were 50% and 35%. And they scored 85 points. Yeah, they have to be hitting their shots. I mean, that's kind of obvious, but.
Do we think this line goes up more? Because you said it's already gone up from a 1.5 to a 2.5, right?
I think they're vast. I think they're going to beat them by like 6 points, probably.
Because I'm kind of thinking if this line hits a 3, I want Virginia.
Really?
I think the public perception of Virginia is so low. And who knows? Maybe the committee. I feel like the committee did undervalue Mountain West schools this year because. I mean, Colorado State could not be playing in the play-ins games here. I think they were good enough to maybe not have to play in these type of games. And we've seen some of the Mountain West schools get valued a little low here on the bracket. Maybe that's a sign that Mountain West is not going to show up, and who knows? But I kind of want Virginia at a 2.5, 3 number. That would be.
Let me ask you guys some questions. Should Boise State be here or should Seton Hall be here?
St. John's.
Should St. John's be here? That's the other thing. St. John's should be here over Boise State and Colorado State.
Absolutely.
I think the committee said, hey, look, we're going to give the Mountain West their props. I think people were too high on teams. I think this is perfect. I think Colorado State and Boise State are squeak in guys right now.
Yeah. Listen, I'm a Johnny's guy, and everybody kind of wanted him like, oh, this would be great. St. John's versus Michigan State in a play-in game. I'm glad they gave it to the Mountain West, which it actually kind of shocks me because with the way the college football players are going and the way they messed up the NIT where conference champions don't get invited to the NIT where it's just going to be more bigger schools.
Yeah.
I'm glad they put a bunch of these guys in because if you're not going to penalize the Big 12 for losing at each other or the SEC teams for losing on the road at each other, but this conference is so bad. I mean, everybody has 4 losses because everybody lost. Colorado State loses at Nevada, who lost at San Diego State, who lost at UNLV, who lost at New Mexico. They're all interchangeable losses.
Yeah. No, it's true. And then you look at other conferences like the Big Ten, which, I mean, besides a top team or two, was trash in my opinion. I mean, great. Wisconsin started to play well. I mean, I don't know. I think the only snubs were Seton Hall and St. John's. Those are the two I think were snubs.
Even St. John's, they had a bad run. If you're going to say, well, this team lost a couple, I mean, you could just bring up every team that had a bad loss somewhere along the way, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they're talking about, well, Florida Atlantic lost to Gulf Coast. Why are they in there? I'm glad they got in there because, all right, you were a Final Four team last year. You're not that bad. And playing with those expectations, you're going to get picked off laying 18 points. They were a huge favorite in most of these games.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, how about South Florida won? They had a pretty good season. They didn't get in. I mean,
yeah, that was the team I was looking at. Then I looked at if you look at KenPom,
South Florida won 22 of their last 24 games, didn't get in. You think a team that's 22-2 in conference play would get in? Nope. If you look at it, the AAC champion this year is a 12 seed. Well, look who it is though. It's not
UAB. Yep.
I mean, they should be thankful.
FAU made it over USF.
Yeah.
That's just name brand. That's all that is right there.
Well, it's also resume. It's from last year.
Yeah, they made it last year.
So what are you doing? So I think there is one very interesting first 4 game. Grambling, Montana State. That I don't know if you got a line for that one. That's got to be.
We got it. Hold on a second.
I've got Montana State as a 4-point favorite. Yeah.
Yeah, it was 3.5. I think it's at 4. Let me pull it up right now on a live-ish. 4s and 134s now. 134.5 maybe you could get. Actually, I see a 133 out there at in Vegas. Got a 133. What do you like? Go ahead. Give me your thoughts on this one. I would probably just go maybe an over in this one. Again, just because you got two teams putting on a show, I would lean over. But
Dude, I was just asking about the spread. The next game is the one that I'm interested in. But I'll be honest with you. I don't know either. I know Grambling State's the first time they've ever been, and blah blah blah. I don't know what to think. This game, I think Colorado wins this game, and then who do they play in the first round?
Colorado will get
it's
in
Florida.
the next.
Florida.
I think Colorado can win and then beat Florida.
Is that who they have? I'm still trying to find it on
Florida.
It's
Florida.
I'll take your word for it. I can't find it.
Colorado's 2.5-point favorites in this game. And I got these numbers about half an hour ago off of Bovada. These could easily have changed by now, so these are half an hour old when I typed these in. But I've got Colorado as a 2.5-point favorite in this game on Bovada for when I got them earlier.
Yeah, these are mine. Are the ones I got posted here off DraftKings. Yeah, Boise's got Florida. Who's Howard Wagner have?
2.5. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, North Carolina.
I would love to see Wagner beat North Carolina. I would love to see it. I don't know.
Is that just as an East Carolina fan? Because that's sure second happening.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. I cashed a 4-1 ticket on NC State last night against North Carolina. That was fun. But no, I mean, I don't know. I want to see I like seeing the 16s beat the ones. I think those are fun.
Nah,
I want to try and make an argument for a 16 seed. I don't know which one yet though.
Let's go on to the. We talked about the Gremlins. It's all right. The Thursday again. These aren't in. You know what? I should probably pull them up in time order. Hold on a second, because when I added them up, Michigan State is the first game. Here, let me find the Michigan State game. I got to search because I don't have them up in order here. All right, so this was a +2 for Michigan State at the time. Was it a +2 or should it have been a -2? Maybe I messed up. Yes, it was a -2 for them. I have them plus. That's a mistake. That was a mistake. It happens. So I think this is an interesting game between these two. Because you have the Michigan Stateness, and then you have, here comes the big bad SEC. Oh, boy. I don't know. Are you sold on Mississippi State?
Something today. I heard something when I was watching the CVS stream for the bracket deal. They said that Izzo as an underseeded team in the tournament, and they rattled off some ridiculous record. Like, you just don't bet against him when he's underseeded. I'll have to look it up. Problem is, every time I bet on Michigan State this year, they lost, or I lost a bet. So they're kind of in my shit house.
I like Michigan State here. I didn't like. I had Mississippi State over LSU. I thought Tennessee would beat them. I had Auburn beating them by 7.5. They lost by 7. So I'm not a Mississippi State backer. They had a nice losing streak coming into the SEC tournament, losing to all the good teams: Carolina, A&M, Auburn, Kentucky. They beat the lower seeds, Arkansas, LSU. So Michigan State, again, a ho-hum season, but you battled Purdue at the end. You lose a close one in Indiana, who'd been playing really well coming into that spot, so I don't really shame them for losing by 1 point on the road there. Again, Purdue regular season lose by 6 on the road. Not bad. I don't hate them here as a 2-point fave. This is where you want to play on Sparty, especially off a bad year. Like, this is a team that at the start of the season was probably thought of as a top 10 team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm probably on Michigan State. I want to find out what that trend is, but I mean, betting against Izzo and definitely in the first round.
I'm not saying it's this
year.
Yeah,
no, this is an MSU money line play for me. I've learned in the past you just don't bet against Sparty in March.
I'm seeing a lot of 1.5s right now. I do see a -120, so I would recommend -120 to get a -120.
Yeah, I might lock that in now. Who knows? I'm gonna be betting.
I'm gonna grab a little -120 myself here.
That's on FanDuel. Yeah, I'm gonna grab that little -120 there on FanDuel. Yeah, and these tournament plays lethal.
Sometimes you could get money lines early. Some games I couldn't. I was looking at, I got we're talking about Florida Atlantic. I took Florida Atlantic -135 on one site. They had a -2.5 on another. I don't know. It's weird how sometimes you get money lines, sometimes you don't.
Yeah,
sometimes you get them,
-120 on FanDuel. I'm seeing 125 on MGM, Fanatics, DraftKings. So I'll take the 5 cents lower here on FanDuel with Michigan State. I'm gonna lock that in as we are talking.
Yes, sometimes you have to.
I'm gonna bet a few of these games tonight. As I'm starting to run through a little bit of index and stuff like that.
I know, some people don't like doing betting out of the thing, right? You bet overnights. What are you doing? And I'm not saying that it's always works out and grinding away, just taking a little bit at a time. It works for me. I know some people want to wait, see where the market goes. I don't know. I like what I do to look at line shows with NFL. I don't want to have somebody else's opinion mess up my opinion. Like, I don't want to wait and then cloud my judgment. Like, if this line goes from this game, any game starts moving, then I'm like, oh boy, am I totally wrong? Or I'm glad I did it because then I'm right. Although, who knows? Because having a good number doesn't mean you win. I had a VCU over 126 today. It was close at 131. Never got close. So there's that. BYU and DeQuesne.
What's the line?
It is now an 8.
Oh, Duquesne. I don't care. Yes. Let it keep going. Duquesne.
Oh yeah, BYU guy. You don't like it when you
No, dude.
Up against each other. So this totals up 2 points. It was 140.5. Now it is a 142.5. So 2 full points on this from DK from then to now.
Nah.
What do you think about that?
I don't care. I think Duquesne covers.
All right.
It's the total. Yeah, sure. The total. It should be going up. But I mean, fucking. What was Duquesne's? I just looked at it. What was Duquesne's points per? I'll look it up. Let you do that. I'll look this up.
I have no really thought on this game. I think BYU could be dangerous, but I did not bet it, and I'm still checking out some other stuff here, putting stuff in.
Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna have to put back with some Caesars action here because
actually Duquesne scored 70 points. I don't know.
I thought you said Little Caesars action.
No. The rewards they gave me for Caesars were nowhere near all the other books, so I really didn't play with it much, and I have no balance on that book. But some of the lines they're giving me, like I'm looking to bet Wagner here against Howard, and I can get 3 on Caesars, and it's 2.5 everywhere else.
Yeah, take it.
I'm gonna have to put some money into Caesars here, so I can go ahead and bet that 3, and they're giving me. I can get a better line on FanDuel at plus 126 for that first round first 4 matchup with Wagner. I'm gonna grab the dog there in that spot. Yeah.
Sniper West says Michigan State made it. What a joke. Here we are talking about Michigan State, West, and this is from right off the bat. This is from 9:10, so this was 20 minutes ago. He's like, what a joke, and I'm saying how you got to take Michigan State here. Virginia gets it over St. John's, ridiculous. See, I could say that. Like, I'm a St. John's guy.
I'm with you too.
That I could say that. If you want to get rid of a Virginia team, I have no problem getting rid of a Virginia team. A team that scored like 40 points in like 3 of the last 5 games, I want nothing. Come on. Surprised Georgia Tech didn't get it. Seriously. A lot of ACC nonsense. Did Pitt make it? Pitt didn't make it, right?
No, Pitt was one of the teams that was on the St. John's conversation.
Yeah,
Dayton deserved to be there.
They were a top 25 team for a lot of these.
Yeah, Dayton deserved to be there.
Yeah, St. John's not getting in. I mean, you thought maybe they played themselves in with a close loss, but you had so many. How many? You had a bunch of bid stealers though. You had so many upsets. Like North Carolina wins, St. John's probably gets in.
Yeah, and NC State doesn't. Yeah,
Nevada over Dayton. We'll get to this game. This is a matchup. This is what they do to the middies. Let's match them up against each other and knock them out because, God forbid, they face a Power 5 school and hurt them.
Ooh, yeah.
Well, actually, no. Hold on a second. Yeah, this is a 7-10 game down in the West.
Yep.
In Salt Lake. You got to like Nevada there. That's a good spot for Nevada. That's not a home game, but it's close enough. Dayton up in the
it's in Salt Lake City.
It's in Salt Lake. I know, but I'm saying it's a standpoint.
No. Reno's real close. Reno, so you could drive there.
Yeah. But they're used to the elevation, though. So.
Yeah. It's yeah.
I gotta do a little circle here on Nevada.
I like Nevada over Dayton. I like
Nevada over Dayton too.
Yeah.
Tooch, my guy, welcome. Iowa State is not an easy out. No.
Well, that wasn't my point. It wasn't my point. It's not an easy out against any team but UConn. UConn's going to beat Iowa State. That's why I think who in the bottom part of that bracket's going to beat them? No one.
Captain it's going to be Auburn.
Auburn's in the top part of the bracket.
Yes. No, but I mean, I was saying Auburn's going to knock them off.
They're the only shot.
Auburn's tough.
I think Auburn's very likely to win the Natty. I grabbed 20-1 with them. 20-1 with Auburn.
I said today because I was like, you're giving me 5-6 points. I don't hate taking Florida there, right? The team could score 90 a game and put up points. You're going to give me points. I get it, but Auburn, I thought was a team that
Auburn beats Iowa State. That's why I
think it's a team that was overlooked because you have, well, first of all, Kentucky, right? So it's Kentucky's going to overlook everybody. Then you had Tennessee play really well. You have the Gators. You had the South Carolina storybook kind of season for them. So no one really talked about Auburn all that much, I think.
Yeah.
Right? You had an explosive Alabama offense. You have it's Kentucky, blue blood, and there's Auburn lurking. Just hiding out in the background. Auburn was a favorite to win the SEC championship. No, they weren't.
Mm-hmm.
Tennessee was. Oh, we're talking about earlier. I would say too much. Well, the defense is, as an Iowan, I love both teams. Yeah, I mean, why did he do that to Drake? Keep them home so they don't have to travel? Is that why you just keep them on like a home court there?
I don't know. I
think about that. I mean, it's in Omaha. It's like a home game for both of these guys.
Yeah.
You put Drake there? I like Drake.
I do too. I mean,
that could be. I mean, because I think they beat Washington State, and then they get that matchup. How's that fair to Yeah, let's give them Washington State because we'll give Washington State a tough team because there's no Pac-12 anymore. So screw you guys. Virginia's offense looked at the tournament. Colorado State, yes, agreed. Boise State, St. John's both belong. Seton Hall, not so much. Seton Hall beat Johnny's pretty good. It's 4, whatever game that was. Grambling. Yeah, well, I'm way back. I'm way far off here. Michael B. Michigan State kind of get a high seed. Yeah, an 8 seed. That's a Sparty. Over Clipper games. Backstage tattoo, my guy. Good to see you. Good to see you. Player prop. Stay away from the BYU game. Yep. 8 feels big, but the town gap between teams is going to be a problem for Duquesne against Illinois. No, Duquesne's got who? BYU.
Yeah.
New Mexico over Clemson. I do like New Mexico. I bet Duke every year. Come on, EQ. Omaha's 2 hours away. The Iowa State Drake game. I mean, that's like built-in home courts there. Built-in home courts. Next game up, Akron and Creighton. Let's find the
unbettable. Creighton's going to be a billion-point favorite. You already had it up. Yeah.
Oh, did I have it up 13.5?
Yeah, I can't bet that game.
No,
and Creighton's slower pace too. I don't know how Akron. I haven't looked at Akron's totals, but maybe the total, maybe the under. I don't know, but I'm not betting that game.
Long Beach, Bama.
You want to know why this is interesting? First, is it Bama they're playing?
Yeah.
I
trust Bama covering 20.5. I get it. They can probably drop 100. That's the way they do it, right? If you like Alabama in this game, you just take their team total, right? Because in order for them to cover,
Alabama's in Charleston.
They're playing Arizona.
Yeah.
Which one are we talking about, Charles? Because there's a funny thing about Long Beach State that I don't know if it's going to tie into this, but I want to know what game you want to talk. Is Charleston, Alabama?
This is Arizona.
Okay. Long Beach State on Monday told their coach of 17 years, we're going to fire you after the season. Then they won the whole fucking thing. So this is interesting. They're going to lose. Do they have enough fight? Is that a storyline for them to cover? I don't know. I think Arizona's a Final Four team.
I think Arizona's a national championship type of team.
Yeah, potentially. But it's an interesting thing for Long Beach State. I want to I want to take the points with them, but I don't know what I'm going to do because Arizona could win by 40. So,
yeah. I mean, you just ran a nice little story for everybody to like, but now you're up against a team that, and this is why I thought Arizona. I had them the other day. I'm like, all right, they should cover the 11. I mean, they were up 11 points at the half. What are you doing?
You know, the teams that match up well against Arizona aren't the teams that I think are going to come out like St. Mary's. St. Mary's up at the top of the bracket. Matches up real well, but like North Carolina and Alabama, those teams, Arizona can run with them. Like Arizona can outrun them. That's why I think Arizona could win that portion, that Final Four spot.
Listen, any team. The thing with Arizona is we saw them crap it up a little bit, right? So that's kind of people are down on them.
I'm not,
but
they have one of the best big men and one of the most underrated big men.
I think they win the national championship.
The dude's going to the NBA. Like you have an NBA type guy, you should be able to beat. Short of your LSU with Ben Simmons, you should be able to take care of teams.
Yeah.
Moorhead and Illinois.
It's interesting, but Illinois wins the game. Who knows if they cover? But
it's part of me is like you want to take Moorhead. But how about an over in this one? Like, why could I see this one paying like 85, 70? Some kind of high scoring game. These games, I kind of if I don't like a dog, I just kind of avoid. I mean, maybe I'll dig more in a week, but at what point? I mean, at this, I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 games bet already,
Mm-hmm.
Oregon, South Carolina. Let me find it here. Oregon is now a pick'em versus South Kakalaka. It is now a pick'em.
So it's moving towards.
I think that line tells you everything you need to know.
Oregon comes in steal. Here's another bid stealer. We talk about teams stealing bids and knocking out a team. Oregon definitely did that. They weren't going anywhere.
Yeah.
I want to take South Carolina.
I kind of do too. I think Oregon got lucky. They played one stellar game against the team that should have won. And the other thing too is points in the paint. This is what's crazy is Colorado has that big motherfucker down there. I forget his name. They outscored him points in the paint like 3-1 in that game. It was just the big guy couldn't get rolling. The stars were aligned. I'm with you on that. I think South Carolina's a play, even though it's moving towards Oregon.
Well, people are betting on Oregon because it's this is the real South Carolina who was picked to finish last place in the SEC. I mean, these guys got 27 wins. I mean, what's their record, South Carolina? 26-7. They lost to Auburn, who is a 3 seed? 4 seed?
Yeah.
SEC champions. They lost to Tennessee, the regular season SEC champions. They lost to Alabama. You lost to Clemson. Bad loss there. Again, that was on a road, though, so whatever. I'll chalk that up. The two things that stick out for them, they lost at They lost at home to LSU by a point, and at Georgia at home. Like those are just bad losses, right? But I mean, you beat Florida, you beat Kentucky, you beat Tennessee, and you're a pick'em versus Oregon because Oregon gets lucky.
And they're also a 6 seed. Oregon won their conference and are 11th seed.
Yeah, but forget about that though. That makes you look like let's take Oregon because they're an 11 seed in a
not
pick'em.
me. No, no, that's not my argument. I think Oregon, the stars aligned and they snuck out. And if Colorado's big guy played his average game, they would have lost that game. I'm with you. South Carolina's a play for me in that one. I'm with you.
I think Oregon's favored.
Well,
I haven't played it.
I just bet Oregon at even money, actually.
And again, I haven't played it because of it's an 11 seed in a pick'em. Do I want to play that? It's
South Carolina had way bigger wins than Oregon did.
I know they did.
Yeah, I'm not even close.
I know they did.
And it doesn't matter who wins that game because Creighton's going to beat whoever wins that game. So
I agree with that. Yes.
So it's almost like for the brackets, like people forget that like when you do a bracket challenge, like you get 1 point for the first. Great, you guessed the fucking upset. The more important thing is getting a team through to the Elite Eight or Final Four. That's the key. So it doesn't matter who wins that game. Creighton fucking blows out whoever.
Let's go next up. Thursday action. Let's move these up here. Nevada and Dayton. And I think we both agree. I think Nevada over Dayton here.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna come in on this game here. That's just me. I think the little bit of a home court. I'm gonna grab some Nevada here minus I got a minus 115 on a money line. I think worth a shot here. 10 seed. 10 seed for me. I'm going to grab this right now. Where's Nevada? This is great, folks. You get a nice pick 'em. You do like you find a bunch of games like this. Do like a 6 or 7 teams super teaser, getting 10 points every game, right? Dave, a good way to go.
Yeah, right.
I mean, wait, you guys bet differently than that? Like what?
All right, Nevada.
Yeah, I think that line's about right. I don't know if I'm going to move on that one yet. I have Nevada as about a half-point favorite, so I don't know about that one yet. That one's not one I'm rushing to go bet, personally.
I am rushing to bet it. I'm gonna rush to bet it. Although it's not rushing, I'm just doing it as I do the show. So
should I be filling?
I'm not rushing. I'm taking my time putting it in, so I'm not rushing the show.
Hold on. I should be filling out a bracket here as we're doing this, shouldn't I? Maybe I shouldn't. I'm not going to do that.
I was saying, Dave, I had just gone through like the top bracket, even though you think that UConn has a cakewalk. I was just shocked with the amount of champions they have in that bracket with them. So I didn't even get – I started at the bottom, and I just had to go back. I'm like, this is ridiculous. And then I started just looking around and be like, who does everybody else have that they have this kind of bracket? I mean
yeah, I was wondering because we could have made an argument for Iowa State being a 1 seed potentially, and now they're the 2 seed in the number 1 overall region.
Yeah, so you're saying they're the worst. They're the worst 2 seed.
They're the worst 2 seed. They're worse than Tennessee.
They're the worst 2 seed.
Yeah, I think Tennessee's
UConn's
better
the
than
best
Iowa
team.
State.
It would be the worst
I
2
was
seed.
gonna say maybe Marquette's better and maybe Arizona's better, but
I don't
would
think
put them
Marquette's
above
better. I
Tennessee.
mean,
I think all 2 seeds are better than Iowa State, personally.
I guess the question with the Iowa State is, can they score? Will they be able to score? Can they avoid this scoring drought? Are you going to be
blown? Would you be blown away if Illinois gets to it's Illinois, Iowa State, and Illinois wins? Would you be blown away?
No,
I wouldn't either.
No.
Would you be blown away if Illinois beat UConn? I would.
I would.
So that's what I'm saying. UConn.
It would be, first of all, that happens. That game's playing into the 90s. That's like the St. John's game.
Of course.
Because Illinois doesn't play defense.
Yep.
They don't play defense.
Yep. I don't know. That's getting too far ahead of what we're talking about. But anyway.
Oakland, Kentucky, 13.5, 160. This game is one that's gone up.
I'm not betting another Kentucky game for the rest of my life. I hope they lose early in the tournament, but there's not going to be this game. But I hope they lose.
No, all right. Why they hate?
Because every time I bet on either side, I lose for 2 seasons. I have not got a Kentucky game right for 2 seasons. Index be damned, trends be damned. Lick my finger, put it up in the air, see which way the wind's blowing, be damned. Problem is they're going to have to wait for Marquette to beat them. They're going to beat Oakland. I don't know if they're going to cover or not. I'm not going to bet the game, but NC State or Texas Tech, they're beating that. They should. That's the whole thing. And watch NC State go to the fucking Elite Eight.
No. NC State gets their doors beat down.
I think they do too. They blew their leg.
I want to take Oakland here. I put a question mark next to Oakland myself.
Yeah. It's Oakland or nothing for me.
Here we go. Next game up. Peter Pumpkin Eater.
Peacock's money line.
Who's the 2 seed going down, and why is it Tennessee?
No, it's actually what 2 seed do I think it could be? I actually think Western Kentucky. I mean, Marquette's good, but I think Western Kentucky has.
I like Western Kentucky. But we'll talk about that because I think
we'll talk about that. Tennessee. I don't know if they cover 20, but they spray cream all over St. Peter's.
See, they can. Here's the thing, though. They can blow them out and win by 18.
That's my point. Is I don't know. Yeah, I don't know about betting the game, but. And I'm on St. Peter's unders a lot. Not later in the season and not in the tournament. I'd probably be on the over if you gunned to my head for the total.
Actually, our index shows a decent value on Tennessee to beat the doors off of them here. We have them around 23.5. That actually might be a Tennessee bet.
I'm not.
More look at it. I have to take a deeper look into it before I lay these type of points.
I can't get into laying 20 spots. Like for me, it'll be like a first half here if I do anything or
live bet.
Yeah,
it's a stay away. This game, like, there's value in other games. I don't think this is a game.
Let's see what the best number is for Tennessee.
I mean, you're not gonna find better than 20. Like what are you, 19.5? You're gonna
19.5. I'm seeing 19.5 on Fanatics, FanDuel, DraftKings, Bovada.
It's like the difference between 97 and 98 degrees. It's like who cares at that point? It's like it's just fucking way too.
I think you lay the wood in this game, and that's it.
NC State, Texas Tech.
Texas Tech. I'll lay.
I want to take. So this is up to 5 now.
Take it.
Right? Is this just basically we do Texas Tech because you have NC State off of a monster win? Shouldn't be there.
They shouldn't be there. They're playing out of their gourd. Now, could this be one of those, they're on a roll? What would you rather bet on, right? Would you rather bet on, they're hot, they're on a roll? Or would you rather bet on this team's not that talented, shouldn't be here, got lucky, they're going to lose by 8 points or eight.
A little bit of both.
Okay, well.
They came in losing 4 straight at Pitt, Duke, NC, and Florida State. Beat Louisville. Beat the Cuse, upset Duke, Miracle versus Virginia, and you thought after the way they forced overtime and won that one, they get smoked. They end up losing by 8. Winning by 8 over North Carolina. So you're off of 2 kind of Hail Mary type wins.
They absolutely have the ability to do it. But this feels like a couple years ago when Virginia Tech ran through the ACC and then got blown out against Texas in the first round of the tournament. It has that type of feel to it.
I definitely. If this goes up again to 5.5, I'll have to jump in at a bad number, but it is what it is. I just and especially you got Texas Tech off of an embarrassing loss too.
It's Texas Tech or no bet is the way that game should go.
Drake, Washington State. I already bet Drake.
Drake money line.
I said earlier I already bet Drake here in this spot here.
Wow, to do a 5.5.
In Omaha, close to home.
Well coached. Yeah, I'm with you.
South Dakota State and Iowa State here.
No bet.
This could be a game that's like 63 to like 41. Like I could see them smothering South Dakota State.
Mm-hmm.
On the same token, I can see this game being 55-50, and it's a dogfight because Iowa State has trouble scoring sometimes.
Well, you both said under, so maybe the play's the under.
Yeah. 133 is a kind of a bigger type number as well.
And if you like the under, do you like potentially Iowa State to cover?
I don't know. It's too many. I don't get involved in these games very often. Like
it's very difficult to. Yeah, I mean, all you gotta do is money line parlay them all, right? Just take Tennessee money line, Iowa State money line, Arizona money line. Throw a couple 1 seeds in there, right? That's just what
easy money.
You still might not even.
My bad. You just lay the minus 2,000.
Yeah, who's that guy who came in minus? Take a. Who was that? Iowa in football minus 3,000. McNeese and Gonzaga 145. I see 148.5 now. I just added that to the thing. So total's gone up.
Game.
I took McNeese. Why? Who's 6? A 6 spot. I had to take the dog because it just looks. Why? And again, I don't look at any of my numbers. I see a 6. I'm thinking the public thinks this should be a 10 because it's Gonzaga. And I'm automatically taking the no-name bunch. Although, why do I feel this will be a trendy pick and it's going to come down and Gonzaga's going to win by like 22 or something?
I'm going to tell you right now in my bracket, I'm seriously considering that side of the bracket, taking McNeese and Samford both because I think either Kansas or Gonzaga loses. One of the two loses, I think.
I took a Samford at a 7.5.
I like McNeese here. I like Samford in that game. I like the dogs in both games.
And that's the next one up here to close the night out. Nice night, a good doggy night because you got McNeese and Samford both going at 10 o'clock at night here.
Kansas is injury riddled. They don't know who's.
I was just saying, careful with that Kansas game because who's going to play is the question.
This is now a 7 too. This is now a 7.
I'm not going to bet it ahead of time, but I think in my bracket I'm taking Samford as an upset. I think one of the two upsets. Or it's a good spot. I think those are two of the best upset spots are Samford and McNeese State. That's my humble opinion.
Next up, we have Stetson and UConn. 26.5. I mean, what are you doing with this game?
Ignore it. Put UConn to win in your bracket and go to a different game.
Right. I mean, I'm sure we'll have a lot of, you just, got to lay. Are you going to lay the points with UConn here? I can't.
Stetson money line?
How about, in a spot like this, would you just do I'm just going to do a UConn first half because I think they're going to jump out to a big lead and then that's that?
I don't know. 13 points or 14.5 or whatever it's going to be now. I don't know.
Yeah. Again, I'm not getting anything from me out of this one. Florida, actually, no, that's not the next game. It is, where's the Duke game? I keep hitting every game but the one I need. Duke, Vermont. Is this everybody betting Vermont? Because this is, I see, at 12 now, so it's gone up a half a point here, and the total is a 133 now. A 133.
I was going to say, at that number, I'd bet on this game. I'd bet an over 131.5, maybe 133 still. I'd be.
It
on
is
the
a
over.
133. It's gone to a 133.
I'd be on the over. Without diving into it, the over looks enticing to me.
Yeah, I have no. I want to take Duke because I think everybody's going to hate Duke and just go against them.
I have a feeling my first looks, like I put out, like, I first looked at the bracket, did absolutely no research. I'm like, this team is an upset pick. And I'm starting to put my numbers together. I'm like, no, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. And Vermont was one of those picks. I'm like, maybe Vermont has a little bit of value here at 11, but as I'm starting to put my numbers in, it's like, yeah, should this game be more like a 14? Like, I don't know. I remember last year one of my favorite plays in the first round was Duke against Oral Roberts, because Oral Roberts was that team that everybody loved last year. Yep. They had the potential to be like McNeese this year, that everybody loves McNeese. I really liked McNeese. I had McNeese circled for a long time to pick in the first round. I don't know.
You're not putting home court advantages on these, right?
No. They're all neutrals.
Obviously, I'm just making sure.
Yep.
Next up,
I got Duke at a 14, so I'll probably bet Duke 11.
Northwestern FAU. I'm torn on this one.
These again, I'm just going down. They don't have the times up. These are all listed at one time here, so I'm just going down by their number off of the board, a random 12 o'clock time here. So, but anyway,
I'm
Northwestern.
Torn on this one. Big time. I'm torn.
This is, by the way, this line has flipped. Florida Atlantic is at -2.5.
Yeah, I don't know.
So that is a interesting move there. Not interesting. It kind of makes sense. People are going to be thinking about.
People remember FAU from last year. This could be a very trendy feed. I'm trying to think who the trendy teams are going to be and try to bet against them. Like, that's what I'm trying to think of right now, is who's going to be that trendy team.
I want to bet FAU too, but I don't know if I can. Again, a game that really is inconsequential to the grand scheme of things, because they're going to get, either team's going to get routed by UConn. So
fair.
Next
up, we have Western and Marquette.
Why do I think this? Even people are so high on Marquette. Why am I high on Western Kentucky? I don't know why. I feel like
it's come down. It's 14 now.
Yeah, dude.
Marquette wins. I don't know about covers.
Yeah, well, no. Actually, I don't know.
They put these guys at it too. Do they think they're healthy? Like, they have to know that. What's his name? Kolik's playing in, right? That's the thing, because he was out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing they got the word. He's 100% playing. Don't worry about it. Okay, here's your 2 seed.
Without looking at the index, I'd be on Western Kentucky even at 14 plus 14. Right? Yeah.
I tend to agree.
The third team I have a natty future on is 25-1 with Marquette. I got Arizona 16-1, Auburn 20-1, Marquette 25-1. Those are the 3 teams I came in with futures on.
Oh, you know what? I got a future actually on Kentucky 20-1. I didn't even look at how that breaks for them.
Can you cash out?
Where is Kentucky? What bracket are they in?
They're on the right side.
Oh,
of the
bracket. Yeah, and that's weird because I like Oakland, upset them in the first round. That's great.
Nick's girlfriend came out of the shower naked. He just left, apparently.
Did she walk by? I missed it.
No. I'm just saying he left all of a sudden. So Kentucky plays Oakland. They're in the South.
Yeah. No, I just found it. I was like, what the heck is that? Madison and whiskey. I said I got Madison here. The line's come down.
JMU for all day long. All day.
4.5. It's come down a point. I don't care.
Neither do I.
We talked about it earlier. TCU and Utah State's an interesting one, I think.
It is. I need to look at it. I lean TCU, but I'm going to look.
This is a 3 now and a 1. I said I could up to a 148.5, so it's gotten up 2 points.
I think TCU is too fast for them. That's just me.
Longwood and Houston. I can't tell you with that time.
Yeah.
Colgate and Baylor. Again, I know people want to jump on Colgate here. I don't know if I want Colgate in this spot.
Yeah.
I'm right. A week ago, people were like, "Oh, Baylor." Now, the trendy play is going to take Colgate.
No, I think it's just stay off in general.
And normally I'd be like, okay, Colgate. They didn't even pull off the usual upset of Syracuse this year. They lost at Syracuse, lost at Yale, who's in a tournament, lost versus Harvard. They beat Weber State, but that was by 2, and Weber's nowhere to be found. They lost at Arizona by 30. Who did they beat? Vermont? Lost to Illinois? Lost to Iona? Lost to Cornell? Nothing. There's nothing even on the outside resume that say, okay, they played a good team. They lost to those teams this year.
Colgate is in the shittiest conference with the shittiest teams. Is George Mason in the Patriot Conference?
No, it's a Holy Cross, American, Bucknell,
Boston,
Loyola, Maryland, Boston, Navy,
right?
Army, American, Lehigh.
So they play in the worst. That's why Colgate's always the winner. This is a shitty team. This is not a good team.
But sometimes they'll beat Syracuse, or they have some marquee. It's a nice. Sometimes they're decent where they've beaten some teams in their non-con. They beat Brown.
Okay.
Gardner Weeb.
Okay, great.
And Weber by 2. And Binghamton. I mean,
all powerhouses.
Vermont.
Well, that's probably the best school they beat, right?
Okay. They lost to Cornell. They lost to all the Ivy schools, except for Brown. They lost to Iona by 25. By 20. Lost them by 20. Yeah, I'm going to take Baylor here. I'm not a huge.
I'm going to say this. I'm not a first half guy because I think maybe they slow down. I bet you Baylor first half might be the play. I'd have to dive into it, but
yeah, I got to make a note for Baylor.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Got to make a note for Baylor here.
Iona
New Mexico. We talked about New Mexico already here. We talked about that earlier.
Yeah.
A&M Nebraska is, I think, an interesting one.
It is. I'm not sold on either team.
I kind of like both. How about this line is now a 1.5?
Wow. I don't know if I agree with that.
That is is that basically we like the Big 12. We're going to bet the Big 12 team over the Big 10, right? Is that what that is? That's basically what that is. That's what it looks like to me. I don't know.
I could go. Now that makes to me, Texas A&M money line looks. No, wait a minute. It was the other way around. Yeah, they were the
Nebraska
dog.
was favored by 3.
Never mind. It goes the other way. Yeah, that I don't like that. To tell you the truth, I don't like
Where's
that game
this?
at all. The odds got better for.
This is in Memphis. 8-9 matchup. Now, basically, I mean, will we be shocked if this is a pick 'em by game time?
I probably won't bet it. Tell you the truth. I need to see what the index says, but
I made my note for Baylor. This one here is just a question mark. Yale and Auburn.
Auburn's winning that game. You know what? Nah, I need to go back and look. It's actually Auburn or nothing for me.
Mine hasn't moved a bit off of this one. I mean, I'm the same. I'm gonna think Auburn.
Yeah. I
mean, Yale pulled the upset to get here.
3 of the last 4 tournaments, the Yale's been there for the Ivy League. They've just dominated that.
Yeah, but I think Princeton was the favorite this year coming in.
Yeah, but realistically, the Ivy League, people like, oh, they have an upset the first. Let's say they beat Auburn, everyone goes crazy. How deep? They never go deep. They're not good teams. Would it blow you away if Auburn beat them by 20 points? No.
I think they're going to beat them by 20.
Okay, there you go. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, it's kind of an easy. I mean, we could dive into this, but you either like to lay the points, or you don't. I don't. I think you want to give your money away, bet Yale in this game.
Let's go to the next one here. We got Charleston, Alabama. I know you want to talk about this game earlier.
Yeah. Over.
That's your big thing. You're excited about this
game?
No.
It was Arizona. You had them mixed up.
That's right. I had Arizona. That's right. I had Alabama instead of Charleston.
Over, because I haven't paid attention to Charleston's offense. If they're anything like they were last year, over. Because Alabama doesn't play defense.
You have to go to your index.
No. Index isn't for totals. I need to look at Charleston's shooting percentages, which I don't know offhand. I can tell you right now, Alabama, zero defense. That's
the thing with them. That's what comes back to bite them in the butt.
Yeah.
I mean, 170 basically here. This is crazy.
Over.
UAB and San Diego State. I took the Blazers. I don't know why. I'm, 7.5. Sure, sign me up, UAB. Actually, this was down to a 6.5 at one spot I saw. So
tough game.
What is it right now? I see some 7s, more 6.5s, and a 137. Again, DK rolled these lines out as I was putting them in as they were popping up. So this was at like 6:30, 6:45 time, right? So now it's 11:15. This line is now a 137, which is, I thought that there'd be to the under. So now I think it's a good time if you like unders in the first round, which people kind of like to play, right? Yep. It's the unders, totals at the, I should say totals are like around like 140 usually hit at a higher clip. So this is 134 to 137. So I still want to go under at San Diego State, but whatever. I got UAB, so I need points. I'm not going to go any totals here. And Grand Canyon and Mary's last game here. What do you think about this line?
So
and now, by the way, high 4.5.
So that dude, I think what's the total done? Has the total moved at all?
The total is 131.5 now. It's gone up.
I would have said from a 129. I would say the over. Grand Canyon's got a couple dudes that can score. They have an NBA quality player on a wing. What's his name? He has a hyphenated name. He has 2 last names. Forget the guy. People are going to want to
Grant Foster. 25 points per game. Actually, excuse me, 20 points per game in a regular season here.
He's an NBA caliber player. I think, St. Mary's a defensive team, blah, blah, blah. On the side, to tell you the truth, St. Mary's wins by two possessions. I don't know, but I think this could accidentally stumble over 131.
I think so too. I mean
68 to 65. That'd be right. That'd be right there. One of these.
So we talk about a team like Colgate going out of conference, right? Like you got this team in the WAC, same kind of nonsense. Like who do you really play? The WAC teams. They beat San Fran on a neutral. And San Fran's not a terrible squad.
St. Mary's
and they were favored over San Fran in that game too.
Yeah,
they did lose it. They did lose to South Carolina on neutral by 7. That's not a bad loss. I think South Carolina's. We went over their schedule pretty good. North Dakota State, whatever. UT Arlington, we saw them in the championship game again. They played those early. A win versus San Diego State. Can't really think that's not a bad move, right?
No, that's number 5 ranked. Of course. Yeah.
Again, on the road beating Liberty, not all that sexy, but you go on the road. We see teams lose on the road against lesser competition. So hats off to them for pulling out a win. Neutral win at Portland. That's a nobody squad there. Southern Utah, whatever. I mean, then you get into their conference play. They lost at Seattle, and then they had the back-to-back, a 3-point loss and a 6-point loss to Tarleton and Abilene on the road in back-to-back spots. I go to their non-conference, San Fran, Carolina, San Diego State. Even I'm throwing Liberty and Portland in there as road wins. I don't think they'll be intimidated. I think they'll be one. You get a pumped up squad because this is like a little brother, big brother type thing when you get the
Yeah.
WAC versus a team like St. Mary's. I mean, and the lines come down to 4.5.
No, I'm with you. I think they can turn it up. I would say the side. I'd probably lean Grand Canyon, but I think the best bet's the total.
Like the over there 130. That's again, it's up to 131, 131.5. Obviously, I'm gonna have to go through these tomorrow. As the week goes on, these numbers move. As I said earlier in the show, people are turning like, "What is that line? That's not right." Well, it's 6:45 at 7:06 when I put them in. They were right around what they were, but yeah. What I don't know. Do you have did you do a bracket yet? Do you have a bracket filled out?
I don't. I was gonna fill one out as we're doing the show. I don't. I can just looking down the barrel of the gun, not actually doing a bracket. I don't see how UConn doesn't come out of their side to the. I like Arizona to come out of the West. I mean, it's Purdue. It's Purdue. That's Purdue's side to win too. They just got to. They can't have a game like they had last game, but I think it's 1-2-1 with Purdue, and then this one's kind of wide open. I don't think Houston's as strong as people think, even though they've been ranked as the #1 team.
The thing is, you could get a clunker from the Cougars like you had today, where they get blown out by 30 or whatever.
So I think UConn, Arizona, Purdue, Marquette, maybe Duke. I think it's going to be, by the time we get to the Final Four, it's going to be top heavy. I don't think there's going to be anything less than a 4 seed there. We might see all 1s and 2s.
It could be. Listen, Houston plays like they play. They should go right through. But again, you never know. They might get
Marquette or Kentucky at the 3. Let's say Kentucky.
They're dangerous. That's a dangerous. You don't know.
Yeah.
It's easy to say this could happen, but then you look at it like, well, I mean, because I look at it as like point spread wise, I want to just do a bunch of crazy upsets, right?
Yeah.
Like I like Oakland. I have a Kentucky future, but why do I think that game could be like, 76-74, something close down to the wire?
Who knocks out Houston? There's a lot of teams. Well, first of all, JMU has over 30 wins. I'm not going to say that they might do some crazy things, but let's get down to the other side. Duke can beat Houston. Marquette can beat Houston. Those two teams. Kentucky can beat Houston.
I wouldn't say. Even Florida. Listen, let's be honest. Anybody can beat anybody if Houston's shooting like they did yesterday. But again, that's Iowa State a little better defensively. Kentucky doesn't bring that defense. Florida's sure not bringing that defense. Marquette's capable because you saw them, the last 2 years, Marquette's been a really, I'm not saying elite team. They might have not won anything, but they're tough, man. I got to say, Shaka's that's where he thrives, like a smaller kind of school. Like the Texas job, I thought he'd be like, wow, Texas back on the map. But maybe that was just too big of a pond. Like Marquette, it's the Big East, which isn't as sexy as it was in the 80s or 90s, but he's at a school where it wasn't UConn or St. John's or Georgetown, and he's just winning left and right over there. I like him. I liked him at VCU, so. Now look at this Purdue. So Purdue got Montana, should be a win. They have a clean Utah State, TCU. Come on. They will be in the Sweet 16 facing who? People probably think Gonzaga or Kansas. But
maybe, but I think one of those
or Samford.
Teams,
you never know. Listen, as good as Kansas is, they lost a lot on it. Even when both guys were playing for them, they lost 7 road games.
I'm going to tell you right now, my bracket's going to have Samford in the Sweet 16 because what I'm going to do is I'm going to have McNeese and Samford both. I think one of those two teams moves on, and then I'm going to put Samford in my Sweet 16.
St. Mary's and Gonzaga are both 5 seeds, and St. Mary's beat them twice. What is that about? Is that because Gonzaga won in Kentucky?
Don't know. I think it's the perception of the committee. I mean, we'll see. I'm going to take some shots there, but I mean that's just a stupid bracket. It's not what I'm betting. I am betting both of the. I'm not betting them to win. McNeese State to win, but I want to be taking the points. This is the least talented Gonzaga team we've seen in a long time.
Yeah. I said earlier, I said this is the year to take Mary's to win the WCC. They won in Gonzaga. They lost at home, which I was like, I was totally flabbergasted. I said, championship game, give me Gonzaga. I thought they were in St. Mary's head. I'm like, you're better than them this year. What are you doing? And you're at home. I thought Gonzaga was just in their heads, but they took care of business. And the defense sometimes, again, St. Mary's defense, will it travel like it does as good as it? I mean, we saw them totally annihilate that New Mexico team up there. I was like, give me New Mexico. I was high in New Mexico early in the year. So I'm like, give me New Mexico here. It was like 72-58. Was I doing the show with you when or was I on your show? Maybe I came and we were talking about it. Look at some of these scores for this defense on the road. 49 Xavier. San Diego State, they beat they put up 49 points at Xavier. They put up 54 against San Diego State. So here's the problem with Mary's. But then you see scores like 71-34. And then what they gave up? Then they go here, Pacific 76-28.
Yeah, that was the game everyone talked about. Pacific scored less than 3. But Pacific's one of the worst teams in fucking Division I.
I get it, but still, I mean, Kent State, again, they were kind of a fugazi 8-seed getting to a championship game, 46 points, 56, 34 Mid-Tenney. I mean, 34 and 28 points, 49 to Santa Clara. Will it travel? Because the defense has been good, but hasn't been stymieing good. I just see them both at 5s. It's a little weird.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm still high in New Mexico. I'm still high on them.
I was about to click back on that game because I would say I like New Mexico.
Because I was against them in the tournament, but now I'm back on them. I was on them. I was off them. Now I'm back on them. I mean, they can beat Clemson. They could upset Baylor. I mean, are they the team that goes through? There's going to be one. Is Duke isn't that team? They're not going to beat Illinois. I think JMU and at 12 and UNM at 11 are the two lowly seeds that have the best chance of doing things. 10 seed or higher, meaning doing things, meaning getting to the Elite 8 type of thing, or because they beat UNM beats Baylor. They get to the Sweet 16. Nah, they ain't beating Arizona. Oh, they'll get there. No, they won't. Yeah, they'll get there. Won't they? No, they won't. It'll be Sweet 16.
See, I want to just do like a crazy. So you think, again, I like Arizona. I've been a little biased towards them. My guy T Money, who comes to chat, he hates Arizona, but I wouldn't be shocked if Nevada gave them a run in the second round.
Yeah, Nevada's not going to beat Arizona. Do you think so?
I mean, I just saw Arizona blow a double-digit lead. They lost. They blew 11-point lead in the championship game, or in the semis. I think they could lose a game.
We saw a lot of these teams do this, and I don't know why. Arizona was battling for a first round, but it's almost like they didn't care. We saw Purdue do it. We saw Arizona do it. We saw Duke do it. We saw so many good teams in the conference tournaments just like roll over, and it's just not. I don't see Arizona doing what they did. I don't see Oregon beating Arizona again. Out of 100 times, Arizona wins 90. I mean,
I'm not going to disagree.
I don't know. I think they have every year their style and the players they get a bunch of Europeans. They have that African dude that's going to the NBA, Bello or whatever. He's a beast. When he's on, watch out. And they play too quick. Their pace of play is quick. Like I don't know.
I don't know either. Should be interesting. I think this is a year where everybody's like, "Wow, anybody could win." But as you said, are you going to be shocked when it's UConn, North Carolina, probably Purdue? And again, I'm not even a huge Purdue guy, but would I be shocked? Houston get in there. I'm not going to be shocked. I tell you, I will be shocked if North Carolina and UConn aren't there. Those are probably my two favorites. UConn for sure.
Yeah, I think UConn is the team. Again.
But on the same token, as I say that, I just think there's just a lot of good teams over there.
I don't know. I just don't see it.
Come on, let's go. I mean, all right, forget about Stetson. Florida Atlantic was still in the Final Four last year. And it's the same team, right? It's the same team that was in the Final Four last year. That's regardless of what they did this year. They've played down, whatever the case may be. Not playing down. Maybe teams just they got the bullseye on their back. So that's not an easy one. Say they get past there. Then you have who? Maybe San Diego State, who
they beat in the finals last year and they covered.
They're always tough. They've been tough for a decade now. Maybe you have Auburn.
Auburn's trouble.
I mean, so those three teams, I think, are three. You can't say they're three kind of cakewalk teams. Anyone could be like, "Ooh, would you be shocked if they?" You'd be shocked just because they're favorites. I understand that, but it wouldn't be a total overwhelming. Like, oh my goodness, this is, they think this is like an undefeated UNLV team that's 34-0. And then on the bottom, who can they run into? Illinois.
They're beating Illinois
or an Iowa State. I mean, again, maybe a little bit easier to beat an Illinois team who doesn't play defense to get in a back and forth kind of game. I'm just saying, those, if they lost, it would not shock me if they lost the game.
The only
because I look at the other side. If Houston lost to A&M or Nebraska, I'd be a little shocked. I'd be like, wow, I didn't see that. They should have beat those guys. Wisconsin, Madison, or Vermont, or Duke. I mean, if they lose to Duke, I get it. It's Duke. They got some guy who went off. Maybe. But Texas Tech or NC State, not really. I mean, Kentucky, maybe. I mean, Florida, I think they could stifle. Marquette would be a battle. But, I mean, I'm not going to be shocked if Houston goes right through there.
I'm on the other side. I think the team that has the easiest chance to get stuffed is Houston out of all of them.
Yeah. Well, come on. Nebraska, A&M, Wisconsin, Madison, Vermont. I mean, who's the
Duke, Marquette?
Duke
yeah.
But, okay, you have Duke and Marquette. Maybe, I mean, and I don't know. I mean, I've seen Duke lose some bad games this year.
Yeah, no, I got you. Anything can happen. Obviously, that's kind of a cliche to say, but I just think UConn's too good. If they get past Auburn, I think they got a cakewalk. But we'll see. We could see. And a lot of people were saying like, oh, in the middle of the season, oh, there's a lot of parity. Like, I think that's changed. I think you've kind of seen through it. Like, for instance, people were thinking Indiana State would be someone that was.
Oh yeah,
they didn't even make it, right?
They didn't make it.
Right. Creighton's another one that Creighton is definitely a good team. I don't think that anyone's going to argue now that any 1 or 2 seed isn't going to beat Creighton. what were some other teams people were talking about? Well, Alabama's another team that fell off the face of the planet. They found out we couldn't play defense. They were one of the top 5 ranked team at some point, and you know what I mean. Like really, the cream rises has risen to the top, and I don't see the national title. I would be surprised if the national title wasn't one of these 3 teams to me. And I'd lay some juice on it. It's going to be UConn, Purdue, or Arizona. You throw in UNC there, and that's just absolutely no way. I just don't see one of those teams not winning.
I agree
at all.
I mean, UConn lost 3 games. Purdue lost 4. Houston lost 4. And Arizona with an 8-piece. And that's a team people are like, they're down on, right? They had that bad run. Oh, my goodness. Arizona, they don't cover. They don't do nothing.
It's the talent. The reason why I like their team so much is it's the talent.
Yes.
They get big, fast European dudes, and now they have this beast down low. Like, it's just – and they're fast, and they play fast. They can get beat, and they do get beat. But I'm not betting against them to get beat. Purdue has – the best player, the best player with the best move. It's indefensible when Edey has that turnaround hook going. It's not a sky hook. It's a very sharp straight line hook. When he gets that going, and you have Lawyer there, the kid that the brother was on Dayton or Davidson or whatever, and then you have the other really good guard. Purdue is set up to be able to compete with anyone.
My thing with Purdue is they get past Montana State or whoever.
Yeah.
They're in a dogfight versus TCU or something.
Okay.
Then here come the ghosts of chokers past. You know, like that's how are they going to respond? Because not right, aren't they? They're in off a loss.
Yeah.
They're coming to town off of a loser. A tough loser. An overtime loser. Are they going to choke again? Are they going to get tight? Oh, my goodness. Here we are again. We lost. Forget about that we just lost an overtime game in our own conference tournament. Now they're going to have flashbacks to past NCAA tournaments of them blowing tight games to lesser competition. Like, he's great and all, but is it going to be one extra step instead of shooting? Is it going to be that extra pass instead of the guy taking an open 3? And, like, that's my concern with the Purdue team. Yeah. And they got 4 losses. By like 2, not even bad losses. No, they didn't get trucked by 30 somewhere and mailed one in. Tough losses. And who they go? I mean, look at the road schedule for them. They beat a bunch of good teams. Gonzaga neutral, Tennessee neutral, Marquette neutral, Iowa, Alabama neutral, Arizona neutral. What are you complaining about that squad for? But here comes their past. It's a tight one. It's 66-63, a minute and 42 left. You don't think that the chokers they're going to start thinking about how we blew games the last couple tournaments?
No, they will.
I can't bet at Purdue. I cannot not do it for Purdue future. No way. I need 20-1 or more for Purdue.
What? I mean,
really?
Not going to get.
That's because I think that's how they'll go down. They'll go down in another tight one, and they're gonna. I hate to say choke it away, but it's a tight game, and they're gonna resort back to here come the memories. You're gonna start thinking, and then you start overthinking, and then you make an extra pass, or you try to do an extra dribble. Then it goes off your leg. Then it's a steal. Then you're rushing a shot, and you're missing layup bank shots. You're hitting the side of the rim. I don't trust Purdue. I can't. I'll say they're great. I just can't bet them. No thanks. I mean, really, I'd rather take a flyer on freaking Texas running the ticket out of there or something. Well, the Tennessee's could be a tough team.
Yeah, I really like Tennessee earlier in the year, but it changed.
I haven't checked the comments in ages. We did that one. Ohio. Iowa 2 hours for the Drake game. Elite Eight usually where my brackets go to die, says JW. How are you, JW? Who is the easiest route? According to Dave, it's UConn.
I think so.
I got to disagree. I got to say, I think Purdue has an easy route. I think Purdue's is just based on blanket. Let's look at it. I know. I don't even know if JW's in here because this comment was from like an hour ago. So I apologize for not doing the comments. Well, obviously, we'll do more comments. And as the days go on, we'll do Midday Money Show. We'll do Late Night Money every day this week. We'll talk about every bracket again and stuff. But, I mean, come on, Purdue. You got a play-in game winner. Utah State or TCU. Let's move on. Gonzaga, McNeese, Kansas, Samford. 2 floor teams at Gonzaga and Kansas. You should move on. And then who you're going to have out of the South? Maybe a South Carolina. Creighton, maybe. Creighton might give you. Creighton's not going to back down. They'll give you a battle. But really, that's an Elite Eight team right there. I think that one's be my easiest one. They scored against Houston. Says too. Defense. What defense? I don't know. Again, I'm so far behind. I apologize. Kentucky has to go out early. Wouldn't hurt my feelings. I agree. They could both go down early. Kentucky's young guards, Oakland's zone defense will be interesting. I think that's going to be. You got to like Oakland there. I got the question mark next to Oakland. I haven't pulled the trigger on them, but I do like the points, and I believe it is a double digit. I got to look. I should have wrote them on the bracket. It would have been easier. But then again, I don't know who's playing where, so I don't even know what it is. JW said Dave should bet Kentucky and have Oakland wreck everybody's bracket. There you go.
I saw
that. Say Pete's offensive rebounding could keep it closer than 20. Adam. Who knows with the Peacocks? I'm not looking to bet the Peacocks against Tennessee. Tennessee's won. Tennessee could turn in like to a Houston type game. That game could be 77-55 or it could be 61-57. Texas Tech should cover. I tend to agree that, right? They got North Carolina. Player Prop King want to take FAU, but I'm staying away from now with the Owls. Not allowed to touch Marquette. You and Tooch, the Marquette. You take Marquette, they lose. I'm staying away from the Marquette game. You got it. Andres, we're trying to get it. That's the idea. Player props down on 5 or 6 games. Who knocks Houston out? Nebraska, A&M, Whiskey or James Madison, Duke or Vermont?
Yes.
All of them? All of them knocks Houston out? You're a Houston hater.
No, I see them the way you see Purdue is the way I see them. I think they just choke. I just did I threw a bracket together. I have Duke beating them in the Sweet 16.
That won't shock me there.
Yeah, Duke. JMU beats Wisconsin. JMU faces Duke. Duke goes. Texas A&M beats Houston. Houston beats Texas A&M. Then it's Duke, Houston. It just seemed Duke is one of those teams. That's why people bet Duke every year. It kind of almost doesn't. They for whatever reason, they're always in the Sweet 16 or Elite Eight. They're always in the Elite Eight. They're always in the fucking Final Four conversation every year, no matter how good or bad they are.
Well, because most years they're pretty good, and it's just a question of do they get past that, second or Sweet 16?
They're always pretty good. I mean, name another team that gets better. I actually did this on my show. I said, if you're a college prospect, you can go anywhere you want to go for whatever reason. What's the number one team? And the majority of people said Duke. Like, where is it? UNC or Kentucky? Is it UC? I would say UCLA back in the day because it's in LA, but they have a shitty team. So for me, it's Duke. I'd go straight to Duke.
And they do get the recruits.
Anyway.
And player prop agrees with our Gonzaga take. We were talking about Gonzaga a while ago.
I don't remember what the take was, but the take is I think I have McNeese State went upsetting them. So
anything else to share? We'll wrap this up in an hour 35 minutes. We had a bunch of people watching. Wow. Everybody's on Twitter. I see that the YouTube views are all down, but Twitter is like taking off.
It's off and they're wrong. So like for instance, there was a person I was on a show that's a very small show that had on their Twitter, and their Twitter is very small too. had 30 people watching on Twitter. That's never happening. So Twitter is skewing the views. For instance, today on PSR, I was watching a show on Twitter just to see 198 people viewing it on Twitter. That's not, they get 15 to 20. Something's up with the views on Twitter. Because go to your YouTube views, and they'll be about the same that you always have.
Yeah, but if you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on Twitter, it's
you know what their counting is. They're not counting. And they did this on mine too. They're not counting the viewers aren't. That's your actual views, not viewers. So it's misrepresenting it on StreamYard. So StreamYard yeah.
So when everybody comes across it, it shows up as a view.
It's showing, and it's showing that because back in the day when you went up to StreamYard to see how many viewers you had, that was always your active viewers for Twitter. That's not how it is anymore. It's total views.
Yeah, the old I don't know what it did. Something happened, like whatever switched. Like my views were like cut just totally in half. I'm like, what the heck? I mean, it's not like I had like thousands of views anyway. It's a couple hundred, but then they did some kind of reset and it was like just cut. I'm like, where did everybody go? Like, it's just bizarre. I don't understand how those work anyway. That's why I was like, if you're on Twitter, leave a comment. If you're watching, I don't even know who's watching on Twitter.
Yeah, who knows what it is, but anyway, exciting time of year. Time to do the bracket. Time to win some money.
Time to make the brackets. It's kind of like the donuts. You got to make the brackets.
1 in 1 trillion to 1. It's easier to win the lotto than it is to get a perfect bracket.
I sent out I was like, let me send out some invites. You're the only guy who responded, you and Earl.
No.
But then I don't give anybody leadway. I send it like 5, as I start the show, I send them out.
I was already planning on.
I said something to you the other day. I said, hey, I might do the show, so if you're around, I'll send you a link. Because I was like,
yeah, if you ever, I saw some of the people you mentioned on there. If in the group that you put me in, 2 of those guys, if you ever get 2 of those people last minute, you've won the lotto because me and one other guy will be available a lot of the time. The other 2 guys, good fucking luck.
Yeah, the first 2. Yeah.
I'm talking. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I the one guy, I mean, I guess I can say his name. I don't get like he responds like 3 weeks later. He's like, "Hey man, what's up?" I'm like, "Oh, that was from like a month ago."
So Jimmy takes the weekend off for Twitter. Loshak takes the month off for Twitter. So good luck.
Yeah, he never. Anytime I hear him, it's like on a regular text. Like that guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good for him for not being on the Twitter world.
He's just it's either way, but they'd come on if they had time, but they're just not. I think that they especially Jimmy, because he does so much, he zone on the weekend. It's like if he doesn't
and he's got 2 little ones too.
Yeah, 2 little ones and a wife. So yeah.
I told him he messaged me yesterday and it was because I said, he's like, hey man, you're gonna be around for Thursday. I'm like, I'm definitely coming out Thursday. I'll see you,
Yeah.
And then that's it. He's like, great, and that's it. I responded, and there was like dead silence. I guess the phone just goes off. Good for him.
Are you doing Thursday pub hubs now?
No, I'm good for the what's it? No, Thursday is at Pubapalooza.
Oh, Pubapalooza, yeah. See, I don't want to talk about it. I'm upset.
Well, let's cheer up and get out of here.
I'll
talk to you after we end this. All right, listen, a lot of watchers. I'll be back for Midday Money tomorrow. We will do. Maybe I'll start a little early Midday Money because I got a live show with Ross and Jesse tomorrow too, as well. We're doing some basketball stuff. So plenty of basketball. I'm sure Dave will be doing plenty of basketball this week himself. I'm sure. There'll be no lack of bracket talk this week for sure. But I appreciate everybody stopping in, seeing us. Dave, thank you for stopping by. And I'd say thank you to the other guy, but he left, so I'm not going to mention him. So just runs